Today, our topic is why the Stoics believed in fate. The Stoics were ancient philosophers who lived thousands of years ago, but their ideas about life, fate, and how to live well are still very important today. They believe that everything in life happens for a reason, and that reason is connected to fate. Fati, for the Stoics, is not something scary or out of control. Instead, it is a natural order of the universe, a plan that is already set, and our job is to accept it and live in harmony with it. To understand why the Stoics believed in fate, we need to look at their philosophy and how it can help us in our daily lives. First, let's talk about what fate means. Fate is the idea that everything that happens is meant to happen. It is like a big story that has already been written, and we are just acting out our part in it. The Stoics believe that the universe is organized in a logical and rational way. They thought that everything is connected, and every event is part of a bigger plan. This plan is not random or chaotic. It follows rules, just like nature follows rules. For example, the sun rises every morning, and the seasons change in a predictable way. The Stoics believe that human life is also part of this natural order, and everything that happens to us is part of that order. But why did the Stoics believe in fate? One reason is that they believed in a rational universe. They thought that the universe is not random or chaotic, but is instead governed by reason and logic. The Stoics called this universal reason logos. Logos is like the mind of the universe, and it controls everything. Because of this, the Stoics believe that everything happens for a reason. Even if we don't understand the reason, it is still there. This belief helped them accept difficult situations and find peace in the idea that everything is part of a bigger plan. Another reason the Stoics believed in fate is that it helped them deal with challenges and hardships. Life is full of difficulties. People get sick, lose their jobs, or experience loss and pain. The Stoics believe that these things are not random or unfair. Instead, they are part of the natural order of the universe. If we accept that everything happens for a reason, we can stop fighting against life and start living in harmony with it. This doesn't mean we should give up or stop trying. Instead, it means we should focus on what we can control and let go of what we cannot control. This is one of the most important ideas in Stoic philosophy. The Stoics also believed in the idea of Amor Fati, which means love of fate. This means that instead of resisting or complaining about what happens in life, we should accept it and even love it. This is not easy to do, but it is very powerful. When we accept our fate, we stop wasting energy on things we cannot change. Instead, we focus on how we can respond to what happens. For example, if you lose your job, you can either spend your time being angry and upset, or you can accept it as part of your fate and start looking for a new opportunity. The Stoics believe that this attitude helps us stay calm and strong no matter what happens. The Stoics also believe that fate is connected to freedom. This might sound strange because fate seems like the opposite of freedom. If everything is already decided, how can we be free? But the Stoics had a different way of thinking about freedom. They believed that true freedom comes from accepting what we cannot change and focusing on what we can control. We cannot control the weather or other people's actions or the events that happen in the world. But we can control our thoughts, our actions, and our attitudes. This is where our freedom lies. By accepting fate, we free ourselves from the struggle against things we cannot change and focus on what we can do to live a good life. The Stoics also believe that fate helps us live with virtue. Virtue, for the Stoics, is the most important thing in life. It means living with wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. When we accept fate, we are more likely to act with virtue because we are not distracted by anger, fear, or frustration. For example, if someone treats you badly, you can choose to respond with kindness and patience instead of anger. This is not easy, but it is the Stoic way. By accepting what happens and focusing on how we respond, we can live a life of virtue and inner peace. One of the most famous Stoic philosophers, Epictetus, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is a very important idea. Life will always have ups and downs, and we cannot control everything that happens, but we can control how we respond. This is the key to living a good life, according to the Stoics. By accepting fate and focusing on our reactions, we can stay calm and strong, no matter what happens. Another important Stoic idea is the dichotomy of control. This means that some things are in our control, and some things are not. For example, we cannot control the weather, but we can control how we dress for it. We cannot control other people's opinions, but we can control how we respond to them. The Stoics believe that focusing on what we can control is the key to happiness and peace. When we try to control things that are not in our power, we feel frustrated and stressed. But when we focus on what we can control, we feel calm and confident. This is why the Stoics believed in fate. By accepting what we cannot control, we can focus on what we can do to live a good life. The Stoics also believe that fate helps us live in the present moment. When we accept that everything happens for a reason, we stop worrying about the future or regretting the past. Instead, we focus on the here and now. This is a very powerful idea because it helps us live more fully and enjoy life more. For example, if you are worried about something that might happen in the future, you can remind yourself that you cannot control it. Instead, you can focus on what you are doing right now and make the most of it. This is the Stoic way of living in the present moment. Finally, the Stoics believe that fate helps us find meaning in life. When we accept that everything happens for a reason, we can see that even difficult events have a purpose. For example, if you go through a hard time, you can learn from it and become stronger. The Stoics believed that challenges are opportunities to grow and improve. By accepting fate, we can find meaning even in the hardest parts of life. In conclusion, the Stoics believed in fate because they saw it as a natural and rational order of the universe. They believe that everything happens for a reason, even if we don't understand it. By accepting fate, we can stop fighting against life and start living in harmony with it. This helps us stay calm, strong, and focused on what we can control. The Stoic ideas of Amor, Fati, the Dichotomy of Control, and living in the present moment are all ways to help us live a good and meaningful life. So, the next time something happens that you cannot control, remember the Stoics. Accept it as part of your fate, focus on how you can respond, and live with virtue and inner peace. This is the Stoic way, and it can help us all live better lives.